Hey, thanks so much for downloading the episode. On the show today, we talk about producer Dub's adventure to the Sportsman's Expo, ESPN Plus and the UFC fights, plus your H-Uglee and Awkward Moments of the week. Thank you for your submissions. ShopLoopandClip.com. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
You will never see a 30-year-old walking around in a diaper or drinking a bottle.
Paula?
I was thinking I should start with just a good facial.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 339. Ugh. Welcome to the Ugly Truth. Go ahead. Do it.
We are Sisters Who Podcast.
When are we going to get that? We need to have that emblazoned on our bodies.
I think we need to have like a spot that's just plugged in, you know.
So we don't have to think about it any longer.
Yeah, like it's electricized or something. It's like, we are Sisters Who Podcast. Bzz.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, some kind of cool, radio-y sounding
instead
thing.
of ours. Wah, wah, wah.
Okay. So Daryl, the Sportsman's Expo came to Sacramento.
Yes, I heard it on the radio that it was going to be here.
And it's an annual trek that he and my son and Daryl's brother and all of their fishing friends, they all gather to do this annual trip to the Sportsman's Expo. So here's the thing about the Sportsman's Expo. And I wasn't there, so I can't really get into the details, but I can tell you what I know. I told Daryl, I said, depending on what time you get home, we'll determine whether or not Paula comes over to watch the UFC fights with us. Cause his presence is not needed, but I didn't know what kind of condition he would be in when he got home. That was kind of the thing. So okay. Luckily you didn't come over.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Anyway, I'm like, good. See ya. Don't call me. I won't call you. I'll see you tonight. He's like, we're leaving. We're going to get there at 10 o'clock. I go, no, you're getting to the bar at 10 o'clock. I don't know what time you're getting to the expo. So whenever. I go, if you need a ride, obviously call. But other than that, I don't want to hear from you. So nothing. Suddenly I get a text message with a picture of these 8 guys sitting at a bar table drinking copious amounts of beer and breakfast sandwiches.
All I saw were glasses, and then there was like one tiny little plate that had something on it. And
that was Tyler.
Okay. Yeah, and I was just like, so there's not a lot of eating, but there's an awful lot of drinking going on.
Yes. And it's craft beer. It's not Coors Light. So it's like 16%. So 5 pictures later,
my God,
walk over to the Sportsman's Expo because it's across the street. They walk over, have a great time. And I told you what happens when Daryl comes home from these things. There's a lot of grand plans that are made when they're there.
So we're going to climb El Capitan in Yosemite and then fish off the edge.
So I'm upstairs and I was working out and doing all this stuff when he got home. It was like 3 o'clock when he got home. I come downstairs and he goes, well, we're going to Alaska. And I'm like, what? He goes, we're going to Petersburg, Alaska, where we can do crab fishing, halibut, and salmon all at the same place. We could even go wolf hunting if we want. And I'm like, wow. That's a lot. He goes, why? He goes, based on principle, I don't think I could kill a wolf. I'm like, well, that's nice, but
only if it was attacking your cousin and you had to shoot it with a 12 gauge.
Right. So I said, oh, he goes, yeah, we're really serious about it this time. And Tyler's all in too. He said, I don't care what time, what day, I will quit my job. I am going to Alaska with you guys.
Oh, dear God.
It was a passionate plan. He goes, and I bought some knives. And I'm like, oh, did you? Wow. He goes, yes, Tyler and I have matching knives now. And I said, okay. He showed me the knife. He's like, well, I can't close it right now, but I'll read the instructions later. And I said, you are drunk. I go, you are drunk. And he goes, I am not sober.
I am not sober.
I go, well, did you drink anything else besides beer? And he goes, nope.
Thank
I said,
God.
okay, well, I guess that's good. And I don't know how long it's been since you've been, I know you're with your gluten, you probably don't have a lot of beer drinking in your life, but
I don't drink anything.
Right. A beer buzz is the best. I am so warm and happy when I have a beer buzz. It's not very often, but when I do, I really like it. So he's the same way. The thing with Daryl, when he's had a lot of drinks, he breathes through his nose a lot. And he purses his lips a lot. You know what I mean? Right. He's like the old-fashioned drunks in the Westerns. You know? So it's really funny. So
I just keep thinking of Prince.
So whenever he's very like, I love you so much.
Oh,
I'm like, I love you too. And he goes, and I bought some olives. And I'm like, oh, did you? He goes, yes. And I go, well, what are they? He goes, they're green olives stuffed with jalapenos and blue cheese. And I said, wow. I go, never eat those around me.
Yeah,
literally never. That sounds terrible.
What? Don't eat them right now either.
No. And I said, those sound like they'd be fun for camping. Is what I said. You can eat those when you're around other men because I don't want to know how those process through your body.
Save those for Alaska.
Please. So Alaska came up quite a bit over the weekend. And I said, look, if you want to go, by all means go. But I don't like the idea of you being anywhere with my son where there are wolves and bears that you can hunt. That's a concern. He goes, well, but their bears are everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of where they are. And I don't like the idea of my son being near a grizzly.
This would require guns. Does he know that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He goes,
Okay.
he told me, he said, you can just show up with your clothes. They give you everything. You get homemade meals. And I said, what? So someone's poor wife has to host you people?
So was this like an expedition booth that they went to?
Yes. He goes, there were several and they picked them all and they've decided on this Petersburg. It's a little island. Paula, he must have shown me the map like 100 times. God. And, he kept repeating how, this was new and exciting and that we're definitely going to do it. And that this is the year we're doing a multi-day man trip. And I said, okay. And there was talk of a boat purchase. Luckily, that did not occur.
Thank God.
But they spent a lot of time with the boat people. And I was like, wow, you guys really were on fire. So ultimately, he passed out. I mean, not like blackout passed out, but he ultimately finally, but he was drunk for hours.
Jeez.
Hours. Yeah. And I'm like, you're still drunk? What? I'm like, it's 5:30. I'm like, my God, you've been home for hours.
Do they sell beer at the Sportsman Expo?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do. And their friend Con was there and he was buying because he's got,
oh, geez.
He sold his house. So he has extra income.
Oh, plenty of beer drinking money.
Yes. He's like, I have no children and no wife. It's on me. And everybody's like, yay! So it's like,
yay, Con, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Exactly. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of love going around. So Daryl and Tyler actually left early because Tyler had plans that evening and he had to get home to go to his other plans.
Oh, okay.
They were meeting up with friends his own age. So he got dropped off. So that really kind of saved Daryl, I think, from vomiting because that he had to stop.
Right.
Yeah. So luckily he got home early. They stayed a little longer because they ended up venturing into the hunting section, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So they were there for a little bit longer. And then when they were leaving, Daryl's brother tripped and fell in the parking lot and cut his head. So he had a little gash over his eyebrow. So that he's incredibly embarrassed about.
I'm sure
of course.
Prithvi was thrilled.
I'm sure she was tickled to see that.
To come home and he was drunk with a cut above his eyebrow. And she's like, where were you?
In a
what
brawl?
The hell?
My God. So yeah, he was.
Daddy, what happened to your eye?
I tripped and fell in the parking lot. Yeah, which is literally what he did. So I told Daryl, he's of course, Brad sent a very fuzzy photo of half of his eye and his cut later that evening. And I said, what happened? He goes, my brother fell. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, look. And he showed me the picture. And I said, I think you should have probably stayed. You probably could have helped him with this. And he's like, I know, right? And I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
Men are fun.
God, that's funny.
It was funny. It made me laugh. The only difference would be, if it was all girls, we would have been crying at some point, helping somebody.
Probably. Taking our shoes off, walking around barefoot.
Oh, for sure. With the cocktail. It's like, what? Woohoo! Let's get a boat, ladies.
Yeah. We can totally go hunting in Alaska.
We could totally do it.
We could do that. You know what? If guys do it, we could do that
shit. We can do it too. Yeah. God damn it. Look at Jamie. They have pink knives over here. Look. Oh, let's all get them.
It's It's pink camouflage. I love it.
Oh my God, I love it. You would look so good in that, girl.
Oh my God.
You guys, let's do it.
Let's all get knives.
We'll all get knives and then we'll all go hunting. It will be so fun.
We might even be able to use them in the parking lot.
You don't even know.
There could be creeps out there.
We need to just leave these in our cars. You guys, these are for safety. It's for safety. That would be us. Anyway, I'm always glad though when he goes, and I wish he would do it a little more often, but everyone's so damn busy with life. It's hard, but so when they get together, they really make up for it.
Yeah, really.
They really make up for lost time.
I was surprised there was that many. 8? That's a lot.
Yes. Oh, they were so excited.
That's more than the band trip usually.
Yes, and here what was really funny is one of the guys, he's the older brother of these two brothers, and he never can come because he's a sheriff, so he's always working. He was actually
that Chris's brother.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He was actually able to go too, everybody was super stoked to have the brothers together. And what's funny is not only is he a sheriff, but he's a big gun dude. And so he was wearing a jersey that said Amendment 2 on it.
Oh, God.
They were giving so much shit. I mean, he fit right into the Sportsman's Expo. Nobody cares. But it was just really funny because he's very proud of his stance on the Second Amendment. And, props, whatever. They're big hunters, though. They're like big hunters. They go to Montana. They have family in Montana. They go hunting all the time. And I have no problem with that at all. I think that's fine. And they eat everything. It's not like they just leave it to rot in the sun.
They don't do it for sport.
No. Well, even if it is for sport, they're not wasteful. They're true hunters.
I gotcha.
I love it. I would never want to do it myself, but I think for me, it's mostly just because it's dangerous. And you're always cold. It's always cold whenever you have to do that kind of stuff.
I've seen those little tree traps that people sit in, and those things, they don't look like they can hold a lot of weight, but
bears,
I know I've seen large people that hang out in there, so.
I have seen video of bears climb those things, and I don't want to do that. I want nothing.
I like the nighttime cams where they have the video, and then the animals are walking by and they're look inside the camera or something like that. Have you seen those?
Yes, I have. When they set those up, they're motion censored wildlife.
Yes. Those are funny.
I have seen that. It's funny when the cats do it. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Or you see the 2 deers doing it or something.
I know. Those are really funny. Or when you just see a big pack of something run through and one of them stops to pee. It's like, God damn it. Set this peeing again. Let's go. Stuff like that.
We got places to go. Come on.
Seriously. Anyway, it was really fun to watch him enjoy being a man with his friends, and apparently they're going to Alaska, and who knows when that's going to be, but I'm sure it'll be exciting for them all.
I agree.
Anyway, all right. So next, moving on, you and I both did the free trial for ESPN Plus so we could watch the UFC fights.
Yes.
I have to say, not impressed with ESPN Plus.
Oh, God. Far from impressed from ESPN Plus.
Okay. I wasn't sure what your feed was like. But not only do they expect me to pay $4 or $5 a month for it, there's commercials.
Exactly.
I was pissed. I'm like, what is this?
There were commercials, and then what happened is you have to select different boxes for different spots of the fight. So there were the prelims, which we watched, and then there were the prelims. So we were done with the prelims, and we were sitting there, and it says your next segment will begin, shortly.
And you had to switch over. Yeah,
well, we didn't know that, so we were sitting there waiting for 5 minutes, and we're like, when the hell is this thing going to start?
Yeah,
and so then we went over.
Yes.
And then there was a couple times where we kept getting kicked out, and then so they're like, here's your activation code, and I'm like, we're already activated,
Yeah, that happened to us in the very beginning, and then we figured, because we went to ESPN Plus because we had registered already, so we did get that, but we're like, oh no, wait a minute, we don't have to do this. So we found the tab to get to the subscribers page, but we did have to change over to see the main card after the prelims, which was dumb. So we did that. I'm like, what is this? It's like, there's so many steps to get to the thing. And then once you get there, you're like, all right, cool. We definitely had some streaming issues. And Paula, we have the most expensive, fastest streaming service connection around. You can't get better than what we have. So I didn't think we'd have any problems. And it froze. It blacked out. It reset. I mean, it was like, really? And so I thought...
Every fight that started out blurry.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Exactly.
And then when we finally switched over, because Ryan's just like, well, there's another box that says prelims. He's like, maybe we should just go to that one. So we went to that one. And when we finally did, it popped open and Glover Teixeira was already in the ring.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm just like, and so I'm like, well, fortunately the fight hasn't started, but I'm just like, it should be a lot clearer that you need to like,
yeah,
it should just be one feed. That was my whole thing. I'm like, you shouldn't have to go to these stupid boxes.
Yeah, it was a little tedious, no doubt.
It was dumb. It should be more clear. And
well, Daryl canceled it the next day.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, we're like, nope, we're not even keeping the 7-day trial. We're over it. We're done.
And what was funny is that, they said, because I belong to a bunch of MMA sites, and one of them said, Dana White says record breaking, subscriptions, blah, blah, blah. And so in the comments, and I'm just like, Sunday, record breaking cancellations.
Exactly.
And because everybody was saying like canceled. So, I mean, they're going to be so like, I don't even know what they're going to be, but they're going to find out like everybody's canceled because it's awful.
It just wasn't, it was not what it should have been. And, like I was telling Daryl, ESPN is a property of Disney. And you would think, if anything, this would have been state of the art, best of the best, no expense spared to ensure that this was a seamless viewing for those who subscribed and would want to stay. And it wasn't. It was choppy. It was nothing compared to what, Comcast pay-per-views are. It just was not good.
Or just a regular FS1 fight.
It was just, to me, I said, this is a testament of what cord cutters have to endure. Because, our mother is a cord cutter. She has no cable. She has all of the Hulu, Amazon, whatever, smart TV stuff. So anything she watches, she's streaming. I think Netflix is her most sophisticated subscription that she has. And that one, they've got that one dialed in. It's great. I mean, I do sometimes have streaming problems, but it's usually a connection issue. It's not Netflix. So I said, because Daryl and I are talking about cutting the cord on cable. And so we're kind of putting together the numbers and figuring it out. I said, if this is what cord cutters have to deal with, this will make me mad way more than wanting to save a few bucks. Like, I can't deal with this. This is crazy. This is it's just so not reliable. But anyway, with that being said, I think the theme of the UFC night for me was experience beats youth over and over and over.
It was so the whole setup of the card was just bizarre to me. Because I couldn't figure out. Ryan and I agreed that the prelim fights were probably way better than the main card.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched the prelims, but...
Well, who was in the prelim? Was Glover Teixeira there?
He was there, but, it was mostly like no-namers. It was just people that are not... what's the word? I'm not like pushed, I guess, or,
they don't market their name.
Propped up or marketed or anything like that. They're just regular fighters. But they're good, I definitely thought, with the exception of, I think, 2, which they were on the main card, I thought all the fights were great. So the prelim fights we thought they were really good. Like, they were just fighters. They were really good fighters. And I'm angry because I hate the fact that Dana White just keeps promoting like the same 5 fighters.
Well, that's because that's their money makers.
But is it though? That's the thing. Like, do people just only want to see those 5 people fight? Or do the true, people of that, have a passion for the sport want to see people who can actually like fight?
I think that most people fall into UFC when they hear the names over and over again. So when they're fighting, they want to see them, which is why everyone wants to see John Jones or Conor McGregor or the Diaz boys or Cerrone. You remember those names. You're like, oh yeah. Or Paige Van Zandt. You remember her from Dancing with the Stars. And so you want to see her. That's how they make their money. And then maybe along the way, some standout star comes and wows everybody, and then they take note and start pushing them. So I just really thought the fights were good. I thought Paige Van Zandt looked good considering but she said that was a shit performance. I have to get better. I'm glad she won though, because if she hadn't, it'd be over.
Well, everyone's like, she's back. I'm like, she won one fucking fight out of like the last 5.
This was her first win in almost, I think, more than 2 years. So she needed it.
I'm like, let's give it a break already.
Yeah, she needed it. Cerrone just schooled that little boy.
That was such a good. It won fight of the night, and
he was
won
so good.
And he won fighter of the night. But what pissed me off the most, though, is that was on a prelim card, and I'm like, why the fuck was that on the prelim card? He had no business being on. That should have been on the main card. Period. And that Don Hardy bullshit fighter. Kid,
the UFC.
There's no reason he should have been on the main card.
The NFL kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
the one that got disqualified.
3-0.
Yeah.
And then did a knee kick to the temple, got disqualified. And I'm like, that guy is a liability. Well, he's going to kill someone.
Well, it was funny because when they were talking about it, they're like, look, you can blame it on inexperience, but this is the big league. This is not like you said, he should have known better. The guy had 3 points on the ground, and you can't knee kick someone in the face when they have 2 hands and a knee or 2 knees and a hand. You can't do it. And we've seen that happen before where someone gets disqualified. I think Mark Weidman got disqualified for doing the same thing.
They had to review the tape, and technically the guy did have 2 hands down.
Right. So this guy truly had 3 on the mat, and he kicked him in the face. And I was like, damn, that looked hard. And of course he was disqualified. And it's like, I think the marketing is there because he's from the NFL. He's undefeated, and so and people from the NFL know who he is. So if you follow this guy, you're looking forward to seeing if he can transition to a new sport, and he probably can. I agree that he wasn't ready for the main card. They should have switched those 2 fights for sure.
Exactly. That was my thinking all along. Is I'm like, who is this person? Why is he out there? He's used to knocking people out in the first round, so he totally got gassed.
Yes.
And then he obviously did, a disqualifying move, and he looked like he had no idea what he had done wrong.
He didn't. He did not know.
Because he was going to keep fighting. Well, he was just like, no big deal. I'm just fighting this guy.
From what I understand is that if you are having a problem, if you put 3 points on the ground, that's your way of kind of saving yourself from an ass kicking, which is what that guy did. And the youngin did not know. And that's why he continued to fight and didn't recognize that this was a defensive move that he had to kind of respect. And he kept fighting. That's the problem. But let's talk about your boy, Tiny TJ.
I don't want
little
to.
baby TJ.
I just don't want to.
It was funny because Daryl and I were watching, and I said, first of all, he's going to have to take the belt away. He's not going to be able to just fight 5 rounds and get it. He's going to have to take it. Which you and I both agree is the only way to win someone's belt.
Right.
Although he is a small in stature man, he is not fighting. He never fights at that weight. And this kid who beat Mighty Mouse, who arguably is the best in the world at that level, he beat him. So this guy, and this guy was like, nobody's taking this from me. No one's going to lose weight and then take this belt from me. And he was just far superior.
I think TJ underestimated how light he was.
He did.
Because he got pushed and then he fell down.
Yes.
I don't think that typically happens at 135. I know it's only 10 pounds.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reminded me a lot of the Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg fight. He just couldn't even catch his breath and it was over. Now, I do believe that the stoppage was too early, but I don't think that would have changed the outcome because I think that he still would have kept punching him and he would have gone limp anyway.
Daryl and I both felt that it was too early, but inevitably it would have been the same outcome for sure. But you know what? They think there'll be a rematch. I don't know. I don't know if there will be. I don't think there will be. I think he'll go back up to 10 pounds. He'll go up to 135 and defend his title by whoever wants to do it.
Well, Henry Cejudo wants to go up 10 pounds and try and fight TJ for his belt.
Well, good. Do it. Then I think TJ will kick his ass.
Well, I hope so. But what terrifies me is Henry Cejudo is a gold medal wrestler.
Yes, he is.
And so
he's kind of like a baby Daniel Cormier.
Exactly. You know, I don't know how good TJ's groundwork is because he never really takes people to the ground that often.
I don't know. I don't really know what his specialty is. I've never really followed him until now. So
he's kind of a kick and striker person.
If he'll take the challenge if he's up for it, he'll do it.
Oh, he'll definitely do it. I mean, his pride. I mean, you know, those guys, they're nothing but, you know, blood and testosterone. So
I have to say on another note, is Donald Cerrone not the most respected fighter in the UFC right now?
I would think so. And I think
the dude is amazing.
And I think a lot has to do with is that he just has such a positive attitude. Yeah. And he really respects all the fighters unless you give him a reason not to.
I know. Conor McGregor said he'll fight him.
That just is. I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll fight you. And I'm like, fuck you, Connor.
No, because he'll
fight you.
Cerrone called him out.
I know he did, but I hate the way Connor is. You know?
I just think it's a mutual respect. He said, I would absolutely take that fight. You know, basically, I respect you and I would absolutely take that fight. Congratulations is what he said.
I think that would be a poor choice, in my opinion, for Cerrone.
Cerrone would be a millionaire forever if he did that fight. It's money.
I know.
It's money. Even if he lost.
I was so pissed because I posted, it was BJ Penn, and they said, Connor said that he would fight Cowboy Cerrone. So I posted it on my Facebook page, and then I recited what Connor said to someone about, like, of course you'd fight me. I'd make you a millionaire. And then he said, like, you call home to your wife, baby, we did it. We're rich. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
I remember that.
But then it changed. And so I'm like, oh, this looks stupid now. But anyways.
Yeah. Well, we're running out of time, but...
are we really?
Yes. So we normally would be talking about some parenting advice right now. So let's just do this really quick before we get into our H-Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week. We did get some submissions, so I'm going to read those. Ugly parenting about potty training. Now, I will admit that when I was a young mother, I was 21 when I had my son, barely 21. Actually, I wasn't 21 yet, almost 21 when I had my son. Our mother potty trained my son because I didn't know.
For you.
I didn't know what I was doing, and I'd never had a boy before.
Well, not like mom had a boy.
I know, but she's had experience, and she was around way more children than I ever was. So she potty trained my son by putting Cheerios in the toilet. And he was able to aim at them, and it worked. Now, the little girls, I, of course, knew how to do that. By then, I, had a child, so it seemed a little bit easier. Little girls, it depends. They're either control freaks or they hate being wet and dirty. Mm-hmm. Mackenzie was easy. She was so fast and easy to train. She was potty trained in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Malia was stubborn, but she hated being wet. So for me, Malia was the baby that ran around with no clothes on because it was summer. And so she could run around naked. And so when she had to pee, it was easy just to run her into the bathroom and go. And so it took a little bit longer, but because she hated being in wet underwear, it was a lot faster. Pooping is easy. Actually, it's the peeing that's hard. Natalie was so goddamn stubborn. She would sit and poop and pee for hours and not say a word. And I'd be like, what is that smell? And she'd be like, what? I'm like, oh my God. It was a battle royale with her. So but nothing, bribing did not work for me. It was more of just, I remember a daycare provider told me once, she's like, you just have to make them go every 20 minutes. Round the clock every 20 minutes, and they will get potty trained. I'm like, that is exhausting.
Yeah, that never worked for me.
What?
So with Ryan, the problem with Ryan was around the time he was ready to potty train, Victor was in Iraq. I tried to show him and, do the things, but Ryan was more of a kind of like a visual person. So it was difficult because we didn't have the same parts that, he would watch me go, but then I would try and show him how to go. And
he's like, this is not the same.
It's like, this doesn't work, And so when Victor came home from Iraq, he was potty trained within like a week.
Oh, that's nice.
Because he got to see, his dad go. And plus, I think he was excited because dad was home. And
sure.
So he wanted to do everything dad did. Olivia, on the other hand, I think because Victor and I had split up, that she was just absolutely refusing to go. She wasn't potty trained until she was 3.5.
Well, it happens.
She refused, and she would go running in her room, and then I would smell poop, and I would just be like, I was so angry. I tried to bribe her with M&Ms, so I'm like, if she just tried on the potty, I'd give her one, and then
if she would actually go.
If she actually would go, I'd give her like 3, but she never actually went. So it never went past the 1.
God.
But then she started to trick me. She's like, I'll try and go potty. And I'm like, okay.
Oh,
so
no.
then I was just giving her M&Ms all day. And then I'm like, you little brat. I'm like, you just want M&Ms. I'm like, you don't actually have to go.
Yeah.
So, and then everyone's like, try sticker chart and try, this, and then take them every 20 minutes. And I'm just like, this child is so exhausting that, I can't do anything.
Since her inception, she's been exhausting.
Oh, she's been horrible. And they're like, just let him run around naked. And I did that, and she would just stand there and pee on herself.
God, stubborn little thing.
So then I have to give her a bath, and I'm like, I'll just forget it. I'll just wait until she's ready.
Basically, there is no actual system. I've never known anyone who's done it the same twice, ever.
They basically go when they're ready.
And what's funny is older parents, like grandmas or great grandmas, will say, you will never see a 30-year-old walking around in a diaper or drinking a bottle. Trust.
That's what mom told me. Yeah.
It will go away on its own. And it's like, at some point, though, it starts to impinge on your life because daycare won't take them unless they're potty trained. And so you're all right.
That was one thing with Olivia, is she wasn't able to switch rooms until she could potty train. So she was stuck in the 2-year-old room.
Right.
And she was like 3. And I'm just like, Olivia, you want to go with the grown-up kids? You just have to go potty.
She's like, no, I'm fine here.
So she was just like, she was so torn.
I know. She's like, do I give up my stand? Do I die on this hill, or do I go with my friends?
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the most arduous process for a 3-year-old.
So.
Anyway, I will tell you about the funny Twitter story on Sunday's show because I definitely want to talk about it. You'll love it.
Okay.
So let's go to our H-Uglee and Awkward Moments of the week. Exercise edition.
Oh.
So I have 2 very interesting gym/exercise H-Uglee and Awkward Moments this week. I don't relate to one of them. This listener is a badass. I just want you to know, but I'm going to read it anyway because it would easily happen to us. I participate in a small group. It's personal training at a local private gym. Okay, so she's already better than me because she does personal training. I've come along well in my training, and our trainer is awesome, always pushing us to give it our all. One afternoon, we were getting going. There were only 4 of us in class that day. The next move up was squat jumps, where I have done a ton of. He looks at me and says, you come with me. We go outside, and he has a very large tractor tire. He tells me he wants me to do tire jumps, which he has mentioned to me before, but I said I wasn't up to those. I tell him there's no way in hell this girl can jump onto that. It comes up past her knee. Mm-hmm. So she has to jump up. She goes, I have no ups in my jumps.
Right.
He proceeds to tell me that I'm one of the most badass girls he trains and I can do this. For some reason, I decide to believe these words of wisdom, telling him to stand close because this won't be pretty. I jump. He's holding onto my left hand. All I remember is falling backwards. So she jumped and bounced off, essentially. And when I landed on my right hand, she went down to try to catch herself.
Yeah.
She goes, but I don't remember doing that. I'm in a lot of pain. I look down and my hand looks like a hoof. It's mangled and facing the wrong direction.
Oh my God, she broke her hand.
He yells some expletives and grabs a towel to cover it. has me hold my hand over my head, and my friend drives me to the hospital. I ended up with a compound fracture. The ulna bone was sticking straight out of my arm like a flagpole. Oh my God. I had a fracture of the radius bone and a severe dislocation of the wrist. They put me under and put the wrist back into place, and I went right into surgery. Luckily, the timing was everything, as the hand doctor was next door and they had just closed for the day. I spent 2 nights in the hospital with an IV of antibiotics because of the compound fracture.
Right.
Spent some time in a cast and was fully healed in about 3 months. I was back to working out a week later, just doing leg work. To this day, there is no way in hell I'll ever attempt that again. The tire was hauled away and thrown away. I had never broken a bone or even had stitches my entire life, and I was 41 at the time.
She could have sued that gym.
She said, lesson learned, you're never as much of a badass as you might think you are in your mind. Okay, first of all, that guy was picking up on you. He wanted you. He thought you were hot. And he thought, I have found her, my equal in the badass department of cross training. And he threw you on that tire like a dick. And you knew, and you even said it. You're like, I can't do this. Yes, you can. You're a badass bitch. And you're like, you're right, goddammit. And you did it. And you flung off of that tire. I can just see this poor person leaping onto this tire that's half her size and bouncing off like a flea and landing on her arm. I would be, well, if it was my daughter, I would be hunting this person down.
For sure.
Okay, so here's one that's more you and I, more our speed. Because I would never be leaping onto tractor tires.
No. Even if he convinced me to the death, I'd be like, I'm not doing it, dude.
It's like, I know myself, and there's no way. I would crank my ankle or something leaping onto that thing. It's not happening.
I just wouldn't. I would never agree to jump in front of anyone. The only people I jump in front of are my kids.
First of all, Paula, in what universe are we at a cross training gym?
Well, that's true.
When are we ever going to have a personal trainer telling us how to jump on things? It's never going to happen.
The only time I'll ever be there if it was like a sales call.
You know what? And even if I was somehow convinced to go to a thing of this nature, having someone yell or tell me what to do, I'd be like, I don't think so. You don't run my life. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be over here.
I'm going to go at my own pace. Go on, go past me.
Don't talk to me.
I'm still working on these.
It took me 3 weeks just to figure out the outfit for today. I don't even care.
It took me 3 weeks just to get out of my car.
Yeah, really. I've been sitting here on Facebook for 3 weeks.
I've been staring at this gym for 3 weeks thinking about whether I should come inside.
I drove by first. Okay, so this is Carrie. All right, here we go. As part of my physical therapy, I had to do clamshells, where you lie on your side with an exercise band around your knees and open and close your legs.
I've done those, and they are so embarrassing.
I did weeks of these, facing the workout room in carefully chosen shorts. I don't wear bike shorts or yoga pants because they feel too revealing. One day, the normal benches were taken, and I had to use one in front of a mirror. Everything went fine until I half sat up and noticed that you could see totally down past my underwear and the shorts I was wearing. So she was exposing her snatch. And I had been wearing these for weeks and had faced the whole room with dozens of people working out. And because my leg was so not flexible from the surgery, things weren't as well groomed as they should be.
Oh, no.
Thinking about this still makes me want to throw up.
Oh my God.
You know, there are people going, hey, that lady's back to do her clamshells for us.
God. Yeah. There's probably a reason why they call them clamshells.
Well, Paula, I mean, for her to, and you know, this is what's so awkward about it, is that she was like, I am not wearing bike shorts or yoga pants. Everyone will see my camel toe. And so she
Wear
was,
some
I'll just
sweats then. I don't care if it's 110 degrees outside.
I'll just wear these shorts that everyone can see everything instead.
Really?
Did you know that she has a labia piercing down there?
Yeah, really.
Well, I thought so.
Your legs aren't the only thing that open wide when you're doing your clamshells. Jesus.
It's like, oh, so the color, what is it? The carpet does match the drapes.
Right.
God.
No, I had to do those when I went to physical therapy. You know, the thing, I don't know if you've ever been to physical therapy.
No.
But it's just a big giant room with a bunch of like exercise equipment and like exercise balls and
sounds terrible.
Mats and I don't know. It's just I don't know. And so they did make me do clamshells, but it's like a weird thing. You know, you're laying sideways and your knees, you have to like open up at your knees. And
I don't want to do that.
And your legs are a little bent. And so I was doing that, but it's so awkward and your genitalia is definitely affected. I was always afraid that I was going to get like too much air in there or something like that, you know? Because I'm just like, this is abnormal, you know? No one should. They're like, okay, do 20 clamshells, and your physical therapist is standing there looking at you, like, you know, writing down on the chart, and I'm just like, oh my god, please don't do anything.
Please don't queef. Please don't
queef or anything like that.
I would probably wear a tampon or something.
I don't know.
I mean, you know, just
I guess I could. I hadn't really thought about that.
You know, double extra safety.
Put a muffler
if I was worried
down there.
about it. I mean, if I was worried about it, that's
put a
funny.
muffler down there and, you know, get some good exhaust.
Good Lord. That would be, you know what? Things like that, though, like I've heard of people who fart during massages and stuff. And it's
During
like getting a massage, they'll fart.
Ew.
It's apparently very common. I wouldn't know because I don't like massages, but the last time I got a massage, I got a deep tissue, like a Swedish massage. Daryl got me one for like a gift once, and I felt compelled to use it because he told me, you know, because he got it, and so I was like, "I'm fine."
Yeah,
so I got it.
I'll go for an hour and let someone touch my body.
So the lady goes, "Now you're gonna feel kind of weird because I've been, pushing everything around and all of your, I don't know, they're like they get all the stuff out of your muscles." Whatever's in
the toxins.
What I mean? No, not toxins necessarily. It's just they've been moving a bunch of shit around, and so you might feel unusual. So I sat up and I immediately almost threw up.
Oh my god!
And she's like, "Are you gonna be all right?" I'm like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "I don't understand." I remember telling her, going, "I don't understand why this is happening. This isn't the kind of person I am." And she's like, "Well, it really has nothing to do with what kind of person you are. Your body's just responding." She's like, "You really should get these more often." I'm all, no, I'm never doing this again, ever. Like, never.
God.
It was terrible. I mean, it's not a holistic thing. It's like they're really pushing, the adrenal gland shit around and doing all that stuff. And so your body's like, oh my God. I know people really swear by massages, and Daryl loves massage, but I do not. I'm a control freak.
Not by a stranger.
No, and it wasn't a dude or anything. It was just some woman, but not a fan.
I got a pregnancy massage once when I was pregnant with Olivia. Yeah.
What? Oh my God.
Well, I had such horrible back pain, and so I got a pregnancy massage, and what I was mostly surprised about is like this lady was like a sheet contortionist because like she could move these sheets and cover my body and like pull it through my leg or like, go under my armpit and everything and never reveal anything, but still like massage the whole body or whatever she could massage. I don't really know.
Interesting.
But I'm like, wow, they must have like a whole class just on sheets, like
right.
how to move them around and
maybe. Yeah.
But
I just can't. Stephanie asked me for a contact for Botox. Speaking of,
she asked you for what?
She wanted to know if I knew anybody who did Botox.
Oh, really?
I can tell you, Paula, if she gets it done, I will be so jealous that I didn't do it first.
Well, I mean, then we should all go together because it'd probably be cheaper, right?
It's what?
Wouldn't it be cheaper? Because they have to open the little bottle.
Maybe. Well, I know they do those specials all the time. So.
They don't do Botox parties anymore, do they?
I don't know. I don't think so. I would go with the two of you. I don't know why we've been putting it off, honestly.
See, my problem is I don't even think I necessarily need Botox. I just need like a lift. My whole face is just starting to sag.
They can do injections that simulate a lift.
I was thinking I should start with just a good facial.
I'm with you. I would not mind. I've had a facial and I did like it. So I would definitely do that again. I would be curious to see what my skin looked like after a full, once over, and then they could determine whether or not, I'm older, so they're definitely going to say, oh yeah, you could definitely have some. They're going to say it for sure. So
I had a facial once, but it was in the shower.
Ew, gross. On that note, we're out of time. We are out of time.
Yeah, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
No, it never is.
I couldn't open my eyes. I was just like, I can't see.
Ew, gross. Anyway, say goodbye, Paula.
Goodbye, Paula.
No, we're done.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please continue to visit us at uglytruth.com and click on our Amazon button. You can buy things for your sweetheart because Valentine's Day is coming up.
I know.
I know, right?
We haven't done an anti-Valentine's Day show in a while.
We should.
Yeah.
If you want to get some other cute little things, Avon has some good stuff. So you can go to lipandclip.com and purchase some cute things there. Other than that, we appreciate you listening, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.